Do you think the world is ready to hear what we have to say?
I don't think they're ready.
Hi, my name is Grace.
Hi, my name is Carmela, and welcome to the Worthy Woman podcast.
The place where we don't give you your worth, but we can help you find it.
Let's get started.
So hi. Hi, Carmela.
Hi, Grace.
So weird, I never call you Carmela.
And I never call you Grace.
So, yeah, let's introduce ourselves.
I'm Carmela, and I am 20 years old. I am studying theology and philosophy at Grand Canyon University. I just finished my third year. We are both going into our senior year. Me and Grace have been friends for...
Friends is an understatement.
Very much so.
I would say sisters. I told Carmela, basically, we need to stop introducing ourselves as friends or like best friends to people. We just need to start saying sisters, because then you can kind of understand that the dynamic we have if we say we're sisters instead of best friends. So that's an accurate description of us.
Yeah.
Everything Carmela said is the same thing with me. We're in the same major. We go to GCU. We're the same age. I'm 21, a little bit older. And our majors are Christian studies, so theology, with an emphasis in philosophy. So we are bringing you philosophical, theological perspectives to current events, current things going on, and directing it towards young women, or to women in general.
Yeah.
Any girl, any woman who needs some worth, who needs to find their worth, and I think that's most women today.
Yeah, I would totally agree with everything you just said. You guys will understand that will be a thing. One of us will say something and we just...
finish each other's sentences. Yeah. We say the same thing. People ask us if we're twins all the time because we literally have twin telepathy. Like, somebody will be addressing us, oh, how are you guys? Or how are you? And we will both say, good, how are you? Like, at the same time, in the same tone.
Mm-hmm. Or if somebody's telling a story, or it's like, oh my gosh, how funny. Like, at the same time, in the same tone. And we don't mean to. And, of course, we're twinning, if you can't tell.
Of course.
All right, let's get into it.
I think that brings us to what our episode is about today. Feminism, and how it has completely destroyed women in the 21st century.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have some points that we're going to be discussing, and then almost like a application and how you guys can receive this information and use it in your own lives. So we hope to help you understand our motive.
We want to unveil the lies that are literally shoved down your throat as a woman. We want to unveil that. We want to show you the truth that is rooted in God and rooted in Jesus, and it's only found there. So, yeah, let's start off with, well, I think it's a huge misconception of what feminism is. Girls nowadays have a very different view of what it means, what it stands for, the purpose of it, compared to maybe what it is behind the scenes, something that nobody is seeing. So what do you think a girl today would think that feminism is?
I think today in our society, women are made to believe that feminism is the empowerment, the encouragement to be equal with men or better than, put in the same race, so to say, as men because they felt that they weren't.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that women pretty much see it as equality in a social sense. So I think the biggest thing that women are led to believe is that you can't earn as much as a man solely because of your gender. And that's just factually not true. That it'd be discrimination.
Yeah.
And so that is constitutionally, that is legally not true. That's not based in a law. And so, and that's just another thing. How can you determine what somebody's motives or thoughts or intentions are? I mean, let's say a man and a woman both go in for a promotion to their CEO, and the CEO chooses the man. These two people have no idea why they were chosen, right? Solely because of the fact that you can't read another person's mind. And so for anybody to assume another person's intentions it's like out of this world. Like, what are you talking about? You have no idea what any person's intentions are. You could tell me that, you think my hair looks nice, and I can choose to believe you or not, but what I can't do is try to figure out what compelled you to say that to me.
Yeah.
Right? And so to blame it on your gender for the reason why that you didn't receive a specific promotion is absolutely wrong and facetious. You can't say that.
And then over time, it kind of turned into like a gender thing rather than like us women and our actions, and like society. It started to go into like what we are as women and what we like still like is in our nature and what we possess. Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's where it's become corrupt.
Right. I think once again the biggest thing right now for what girls think feminism is to be equally paid as much as a man. And I think that at its base it's fundamentally false, and it's based on something, an agenda, a perception, a misleading of something that may be true. And so I think that why it's so appealing for women, this feminism idea, is that you want to be equal. You want to be treated as a man, which I think that if you actually dissect that and you actually were treated as a man, that you'd be very unhappy and it would actually be inappropriate. And so I think that, if we can dive into what makes a man and a woman different, would be really good, and something that is not talked about at all, and it's deemed as evil if you are different.
Yeah. So I guess that kind of answered our what is feminism and how it's a lie.
So one of my maybe rebuttals towards somebody defining what feminism is to be equal with a man, I would just disagree definitionally, because if we look at the word feminism, it's not egalitarian, it's not equal, right? It's feminism. And so that favors one side. That favors the feminine.
Yeah.
So in the actual word that you're talking about, that you're coining, that in of itself is contradicting to what you're saying you believe to be treated equal. Okay, well, it's not feminism, and it's not going to be a matriarchy either. If you want to dismantle the patriarchy, you can't overcome it with the matriarchy then. It has to be some type of equal type of thing. But that's not what you're looking for anyways. So then we can see that the actual intention or the actual purpose behind what feminism is, even in just the word, the coined term of it, is to put women above men. That's what it is.
And it's just crazy because it's like they're using, if you wanted to be different than men and more than, maybe you would like try better arguments. It's like, what are you even doing? Like, okay, you can maybe like win a race or like be promoted earlier on than a man, but it's like, why aren't you using the actual gifts that God has given you, like bearing children? It's like they want to completely forget about that you over a man,
something that sets you apart.
Yeah. It's like they're not using the things that actually only women can do to empower them. They're using false things. Yeah. And it's just so like, it's so crazy.
It's so contradictory.
It's
It's so ironic. It's twisted, it's flipped upside down, and that's satanic. That is satanic. Somehow being equal in status or maybe equal in roles is fair and good. I think that the lie is that men and women are inherently the same on that level. That's the lie. A woman and a man are not inherently the same on every level. And to say that they are is absolutely ridiculous. It's like saying a square and a circle are the same. They're not. They may be the same within the aspect or the sense that they are shapes. So we are human. We're the same in the sense that we're human, made in the image of God, but we are definitely not the same, even biologically.
Yeah. There's this quote that I wrote down that Jordan Peterson said, and I just want to put it out there because it kind of goes along with what you just said. Jordan Peterson said, "The idea that the hierarchy structure of Western culture is a consequence of the arbitrary oppression of women by men is not only absurd, but it's so dangerous." Like, we literally are biologically different, and our gender roles in society are just not the same. We're not called to do the same things. We aren't able to do the same things. Of course, like you said, we are made in the image of God. We are loved by God equally and will be judged by God equally. But it's like, why make it this battle between the two genders when that it's proven, when it's played right, it's beautiful. It truly is, and it works the best. And obviously people can sit here and lie and say that it doesn't, but I know deep down everyone that does say that knows that when women are in their feminine and bear children and use their roles and how God made them, and same with men, it's beautiful.
Yeah, society flourishes.
Yeah, exactly.
And something that it goes along with how ironic and just how false this whole idea is of being equal with a man, or in that sense, it's like, okay, so let's say that there is like this imbalance in, I don't know, rights or something. If there is an imbalance, why would you do the very thing that a man is doing? If you are a feminist, if in that very word you are elevating the feminism above masculine, then why are you doing a masculine job? I think that if you're a diehard feminist and you should want to turn the world feminine. You should want there to be no men, right? If you hate all men, then your ultimate ought, or your ultimate goal in your feminism would be to exterminate men. It would be to turn this world into a feminine world. And it would be, ultimately, if you see childbearing and staying home and being a homemaker as an oppressive role, you would want the men to do that, right?
Yeah.
And you would want to take the role of the CEO. And so, and in a way, you almost see that nowadays, but it's absolutely ridiculous that the feminism movement is so ironic in what its goal and purpose is. You're gonna do the very thing that you hate. Like, you're gonna do the very thing that you think that you're oppressed by. You're gonna do that.
Yeah.
It does not make logical sense why you would rebel against something and do the very thing that you're rebelling against.
Yeah, well, that God says we do that. That you just quoted scripture, basically, that we do the very thing that we hate. And that's basically what sin is. And so, once again, that's just another answer That's exactly what sin is
Yeah.
doing the very thing you hate, rebelling, twisting.
That's the thing, is why is this idea of like being equal on every level good? Like, is that good? Should a woman and a man be able to do all of the same things? Is that good? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because then and that's what, you know, you see with the movements nowadays, where it's like there's you know, there's no two genders. It should all be one. There's no distinctions.
Or there's multiple genders.
Right, but there's no distinctions.
More than 2.
There's no distinctions, and so you confuse it all and you make it all into one, which is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is a perfect way to lead us into talking about what is truth. So did, like, the other day when we were making our notes, did you put like a definition for you? What is truth? Okay, so I guess I'll say mine. I wrote down the definition of truth is that truth exists independently of what we think or feel about it.
Yeah, no, that's really good. Truth can exist without you seeing it, or without you agreeing or realizing. So truth can exist, yes, without acknowledgement. I found this really interesting, but in Genesis, I was reading over the creation story again, and it's very interesting and symbolic, and I mean, it's the creation of the world and creation of humans, and so it's very complex. But I noticed that God, Yahweh, commands Adam before he even creates Eve. And so you see this kind of communion with God and a man, right? Directing him of what God is commanding to do. So God commanded him, you know, do not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You can eat from every other tree. You can eat from the tree of life, but not from this tree. And Eve is not even in existence.
Can I just say something about that? Like, this thought just came into my head when you were saying that. God gave Adam this leadership role, the first man, before Eve even existed. And so it wasn't like okay, Adam and Eve are both created right now.
Here's a bunch of roles.
Yes, they're standing together, and God is picking either the man or the woman to put this leadership role upon. That's not what happened. Eve wasn't in the picture. It wasn't a battle. It wasn't God granting favor. Yeah, it wasn't him favoring Adam over Eve. Oh, sorry, Eve, I'm gonna give Adam the leadership role, but we'll give you something else. That's what Adam was made and designed for, from God, without Eve in the picture at all. And so that just proves that God isn't
an arbitrary, does whatever he wants, has no
empathy
structure
for women, that he favors men over women, like,
which you will see is not true, actually. That's not true. No, really good. And so then, after he commands Adam the instructions for life, right, to lead, he creates Eve out of Adam's rib, which in of itself is, you know, really incredible, and there's a lot in there. But he calls woman. So out of man, you will be called a woman. And so I just think it's crazy that, you know, this is the language we use. This is the language, even if you are a feminist, the biggest soy boy in the universe, you use the words man and woman. Woman was taken out of man. Man is that root word. So how can you contradict yourself so much that in the very language you're using, you're already admitting that man is a foundation and the woman is the helper. You're already admitting that. Insane. But then, after Eve was created, the serpent tempts Eve and confuses her about what God said to Adam. So then Eve eats and disobeys God, but Adam is there the entire time that happened. And then also Eve gives to Adam. So Eve is leading in that moment. So God commanded Adam about this instruction, about the fruit, and God made Adam to lead Eve and him, and he failed. And he failed by allowing Eve to lead. When that sin happened, it's not as a punishment they were casted out of the garden. It was that, and it says this, the Lord said to the Holy Trinity, if we leave them here, they will also eat from the tree of life. So they will be eternally sinful.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I remember.
Right. And so before that happens, God intervenes already with redemption. He already intervenes. And so then there's death, and then there's life after death, which if they were going to, if they stayed in the garden, they were going to eat the tree of life. So they'd be sinful and eternally sinful. Never a chance for redemption, never a chance for Jesus. Like, wow, right?
Yeah, I mean,
but
could you imagine?
Right. And so this brings me to my biggest point is that this is why when you're equivocating women to men and you're trying to make them equal in every sense, that is literally, definitionally a demonic idea. Satan treated Eve the same way that God treated Adam. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about it like that. How basically Satan played the role of God to Eve, and how God commanded Adam to do certain things, and that's what Satan did to Eve. And she followed that.
And then what is feminism telling you? You're the same as a man. Get up and do what a man does.
Yeah. You're better than this.
Better.
You deserve more.
You can do
God
this.
is lying to you. You weren't just made for that. You were made for something else. You don't know what you're made
missing.
for.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't know what you're missing. Which is literally, it goes back to the garden. How
It's nothing
crazy.
new. It's nothing new. Nothing new under the earth.
Thousands and thousands of years. And we're doing the same exact thing.
And it's seen in feminism.
Wow. Thank you. That was like profound. Like, I just went into a trance.
The truth is that wives, you weren't created to lead your husband. And you see all these marriages and you see all of these families where the wife is like leading in so many ways. And it's like this entire family, like this is just such a warped view of what it should be.
Because although we say all these things and, we foundationally believe this and we do live this out, me and you. But I think we should talk about how we have felt pressured to live a certain way, and how many women and girls like us that maybe think or believe this way too, and that it's right to
Go against it.
But like how we feel so pressured by the world and society. So how would you say you feel pressured?
Feminists they think the total opposite. They make this narrative that actually you were pressured your entire life to like be a traditional woman. And it's like, no, I was pressured my entire life by teachers, friends, older people, to literally to not get married, to have a career set before you establish any type of family, and utterly figure out your entire life before that, and that you're hilarious if you think that you can be a stay-at-home mom. You're hilarious. I remember my teacher in high school, that was a whole separate thing, but all throughout high school, you know, you'd go around and like say what your dream career is. Do you remember that? And, you know, of course, I mean, I'm going to be genuine. My dream is to be a stay-at-home mom. Laughs. Right. But what's your
What
actual...
really?
Yeah, but like, what really?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guess, blah, blah. Really? That's not a cultural pressure? That's not a cultural tradition that's, you know, kind of shaped the way that women grow up? Are you kidding? Wow. So that's something. I've always felt pressured to have a career figured out, to get a career first, and then hope and pray that you could be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like you're told to prioritize, obviously, a career, get that done first, and then start doing your preparations to possibly get married and have kids. I guess just a way that I have felt pressured growing up is just people constantly saying that it means nothing, that marriage is just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
That I don't know the stats, or the statistics on like the divorce rate, but you know, like that would scare me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I guess you don't really have to get married, because it's like, if you're living together, if this and that, it's like, well, why would I ever get married? And then kids cost so much money. And I mean, all those videos you see constantly on the internet as well. And it just makes me so incredibly sad when I see women post their children and they're doing something like bad or like messy, and they're like, this is your sign, like take birth control. And it's like, you're literally sitting there as a mother recording your child and posting that on the internet and saying that type of comments. Like, of course, like, that's put out to thousands and thousands of people to see. It's like, well, now I feel, I'm like, well, I don't want to pick up that mess. Like, what happens? Will I be like struggling financially? Will I be happy? Will I be able to still be in my own identity? Because that's what it's made out to be, is that you lose yourself completely. You sign yourself away to your husband. You sign yourself away to your kids. So why do that?
Yeah. And also, I think this is why especially young women lose the value in themselves, because you can't deny that childbearing and bringing life into the world is a unique gift to a woman. And so when feminism demonizes that and says that's disgusting and makes you think all this, okay, well, as a woman, that's my best gift. My best gift is that very thing you're calling disgusting. Yeah. And so then it's like, well, you know, if I'm not going to be married, if I'm not going to have children, then it's so like gross and unattainable and, you know, not worth it, then that big part of me is not valuable. So then, how about I just turn into a man? How about I sleep around? How about I use my body as nothing, as it's a piece of meat? How about I dedicate my entire life to making money for myself? That is such a lie, and that is rooted from deeming the best gift a woman has as disgusting and as unworthy.
Yeah. I just also find it like so funny that everything will always come down to life and points to life. If sure, a woman can make more money than a man, can be stronger than a man if, you know, they worked out or took steroids, like, yeah, sure, it's like you could do these things, But at the end of the day, the one thing that you're pushing away so much and calling disgusting and comical is the bearing of life. And that only happens with a man and woman. It only does. You can't have children without a man. And you are so special as a woman that you are the only gender that can child bear. Yeah. So it all just points to life. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever, the career,
and then let's think about this too in the story of Jesus. She's a virgin. So she brought life. She brought the Savior of the world into flesh, like without a man.
Mm-hmm.
And so that unique gift is so unique to a woman. And so something like that, it's so unique. It's so inherent to a woman. That I think that's why Satan tries to make it look so gross and look so unappealing. Is because that is the very thing that brought Jesus into this world. That is the very thing that literally was this door from the eternal world into the physical world is a woman. That is a woman. And so Satan thinks, well, how can I destroy and attack and kill God?
Yeah.
It's through a woman, and it's through literally the womb. And that's why abortion and birth control, it's deemed as this women's rights movement, and that's not what it's about at all.
Yeah.
And it's not an infringement upon women.
Yeah, so good. So good.
And that's why the Bible, the book of life, is so valuable, is because, it may be one of the books may be written to ancient Israel, but man, it shows up so much in our culture today. And the things that happen, once again, Ecclesiastes, there's nothing new under the sun. The drama, the everything that's happening in the Bible, it's happening now. It's not like this ancient, like, historical nonsense book that, like, means nothing. Like, it lives. It's now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So true.
With this demonizing attempt to make women unvaluable and feel unworthy about themselves because of the attack on the womb, on childbearing, it causes women, especially young women, to feel lost in their inherent purpose. Because once again, we already said that is like a special inherent purpose that a woman possesses. And so if you're being told that that's useless, then you're useless. Then the very thing that you are gifted in means nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why a 19-year-old girl feels incredibly lost, and she feels like she, can't get to the top of a CEO position, and then she means nothing.
Yeah, and it's like this effect is not only on how women view themselves and the world, but it also has effect on men. And so it's like now it's damaging both sides, and to come out of it, we would have to not just focus on the women, but encouraging the men as well, because it's like if they're also being told that they're not significant and they don't have a role anymore either, because ultimately if we are the same, it's like they can't be different or identified, really, if we're all just one, so to speak. And it's like, okay, well then imagine more women went against the feminist movement. Well, now what? Because now we have these men that are viewing it the same way. Well, I don't want to get married, and I don't want to have kids, and I don't want to lead. What if I fail? What if
It's better for the man. Feminism is better for the man.
Yeah.
And that's why it's ironic.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, now no men want to get married to the women that
Abortion,
yeah.
Great. No child support.
Yeah.
Good for me.
Exactly. I don't want to get a divorce and then have to give away everything I've worked for.
Get your prenup? Yes, girl.
Yeah.
Get what you get, and I'll get what I get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Exactly. So
that's what Satan does. Is
Yeah.
It's like tells you you're worthless, and then gives you some type of anecdote to combat who's oppressing you, and then you do that, and then, oh wait, you're still being oppressed, because that's the end of the game.
So I'm just gonna read 5:25 to 33. So it's a little chunk, and we can talk about that because wow, this just has a lot into it about what we're talking about. Okay, Ephesians 5:25. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by washing of the water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself, for no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church. Because we are members of his body, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother, hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. This mystery is profound.
And so it's very interesting in this text, because we see that Jesus is the husband, right? And so when Paul says that the husband shall leave his family and become one flesh with the bride, with the woman, that's what Jesus did. He literally left the father, left his family, literally, materially. He physically, he left his family, his father in heaven, to come down to earth to get his bride, to pursue his bride, right? To get the people.
Oh my gosh, go off. I'm loving this. Like, by the way, this is a new thought. Like, I've never thought of that. This is just awesome.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Well, no, and it's so true. And so that's why, if you're a Christian girl, you can't hate men, and you can't hate traditional roles as a woman. You can't defy them, because it's in the very nature of Jesus. And if you call yourself a Christian, you're a follower of Christ, you've been accepted, you're an inheritant of heaven. You have to accept, and you have to find the beauty in the truth, which is that a man leads you, and you don't have that responsibility. You don't.
Yeah.
And so that's what Jesus does. He has that responsibility. He took on the weight, the sin of the world, right? And in a way, that's what a husband does too, is like also, by the way, that's why Adam answers to God in Genesis. After it happens, even though Eve took the first bite of the fruit, Eve led Adam to sin, God goes to Adam, why didn't you lead your family correctly? And so it's not even your responsibility as a woman. Like, why in your right mind would any woman, any person, want more responsibility like that than you have?
Yeah.
Like, why would you want that type of weight on you?
Yeah.
It doesn't, you're not right in the mind.
And it's just also in our nature to do that as well. Like, if I'm in a room with a whole bunch of men, and maybe I spilt some coffee, and somebody comes in and is like, who spilled this coffee? I'd be like, y'all better take the blame. One of you guys, and it's like that. And it's that, it's just in the nature. It's like second nature. It's like that.
Yeah.
That guy is going to stand up and be like, I did.
No, yes.
And I'm going to be the one that's like,
But then Adam did that too. He said, well,
Yeah.
it was Eve.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to be a masculine, traditional man, like, don't do what Adam did.
Yeah.
Like, they fell because of Adam's failure in leadership. So it's like, don't let your wife lead. And also, don't blame your wife. Right?
Yeah. So I think,
and then wait, also, because that's the thing with Jesus, is that he says to you, I'm taking your responsibility from you. You did this. You did this sin, but I'm taking it literally on my body. I'm going to God saying, she did not spill the coffee. I did. She did not sin. Look at me. Take it out on me. And that is what Jesus did. Jesus is the second Adam, right?
Yeah.
It's what
and it's
Adam
like,
didn't do.
if Jesus came as a woman, he would be contradicting God if he did that in God's creation with Adam. If Jesus came as a woman and took the blame and took the weight of humanity, this wouldn't be a thing. There wouldn't be a masculine role that God has made.
Well, it would contradict God. Right?
Yeah, it would. It would. It would make Christianity very, I don't know. I don't know the word. But
oh
yeah,
my gosh,
that's
like
great.
how crazy is that? That he is the second Adam, and he redeemed what Adam did or didn't do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So the results of feminism on men and women is that it has divided men and women instead of uniting them. It makes both genders feel lost and confused and like a loss of meaning and identity, and how there's so much value with each individual gender. Yeah, so I guess we can talk about the steps that we're taking as women.
Yeah, so I think that young women are just very lost because, and also this is just so interesting too, the most famous women, the women you're supposed to look up to, the top earning women, it's not because of anything, traditional or whatever. It's they're in that position because perverted way that they're using their femininity. And so really, there's nobody for a young 19-year-old girl to look up to. Seriously. There's nobody in those positions that is faithfully and accurately representing what goodness is in a woman. Yeah. It's not out there. You can't. Yeah. So we can't blame them. You can't blame a 19-year-old girl. That's what is shoved down our throats, right? So hopefully our prayer and our hope is that we can be that to you, is that we can be your older sisters, your mentors, that because we've experienced a lot of things as well, and we know what it's like to be lied to like that, and we want to help you. We want to help you find your worth that already exists. You don't have to go get it. It exists because you are made in the image of God.
So, like, us as women, we have to fight these lies. You have to stand strong in your faith and your value and your identity, and know that God has chosen you to be a woman, and that's so special and so beautiful. And you have to stand strong with truth. You have to, first of all, you need to define what truth is in your mind. You need to know what that is, because just saying, oh yeah, I think that, I believe that, I do that, I do know that, even though I'm doing this right now, I do know that. No, you don't. If you did know the truth of the lies, you would be shattered. You would be completely disgusted with how this feminist movement has completely affected the women of our world today, and girls, little girls growing up even. It's affected them most of all, I think. And yeah, you have an identity in Christ, and you have been given a significant role in this world to be a helper to a man. Men need women to have children, to live. I mean, basically, Adam was so sad alone. He's like begging God, please give me someone, give me a helper. I don't want to do this life alone.
And that was the only thing God said in creation was not good, was that man was alone.
Yeah. Thank you. And that's the only thing that God said that was in creation that was not good, is that man was alone. And so climbing this career ladder, doing all these things alone, even just as a woman, is not good. It's not good biblically. And same with men. It's not good to be a bachelor your whole life and being CEO of your company, which all those things are great, and God can bless you in that way as a man.
But then what's the point? Because that's the thing is, then what's the point? You're CEO, great.
Yeah.
You have no kids. You have nobody. Okay, your name will not last then.
Yeah.
So what's the point? You have to have a foundational purpose before you basically like go out. A 19-year-old girl is absolutely entangled with the lies of the world, with the lies of feminism. So you first need to identify what the truth is and find your way out of all these lies. Then from that truth, your conviction of truth, you will be disgusted. You will be turned off by the lies. And so that will manifest into your life. And then that will also trickle down into the steps you're literally taking like right now. So for you and I, our priority is to be a mother, is to be a wife. And so it doesn't just click and it doesn't just happen when you have a ring on your finger and you get married. It's like, that's a mindset. Because think about it this way, if a feminist, right, if you lived your whole life hating men and not valuing family and the role of being a wife, when you do get married, it's you don't understand. You don't understand what you're doing, literally. And so that's why divorce happens. It's like, what's the point of being married when we can just, have this casual hookup and like my things can be my things and your things can be your things. So it's not just a click in reality and you just transferred from the place you're at to 5 years down the line and you're where you want to be. It's like you need to become that person. You have to start now to become that goal that you're thinking of, because it won't just happen. If you want to make $25,000, you don't sit here and you know it's gonna happen. You see it in your future and you just believe it's gonna happen, and then you sit there for the entirety of the time, and then when you're expecting it, it's not going to be there because you did absolutely nothing to receive it. So you need to get up, and if you want to be a wife someday, if you want to be a mother someday, that starts right now, and that starts when you're single. And so it's not going to just appear and be there for you in a box when you're ready to come get it. It's something you have to live in, and it's something you have to become. It's a person you're becoming. It's not a dress you put on. And so we want to encourage you, for you to know that you are a gift to a man, and you are a gift from God. If you are a Christian, you are a princess of the King. You're literally a princess of the King. And so the world tells you that you are useless and you're a piece of meat and that you're the same as a man. It's a lie. And Satan is behind that. And you You are worth so much more than you think, than people treat you, than what people see. You are worth so much. You are so valuable, and you should accept that for yourself.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. I hope what we said was an encouragement, that it can help you see things clearly now, and that you can live this out, that we are here to help guide you through that. We look forward to sharing more with you guys, more insights, talking about things.
And unveiling many more lies.
Unveiling the truths about these lies. So we will be posting every Monday.
Yes, every Monday. Look out for our episodes. We want this to be a community. We want this to be a group of sisters in Christ, or just sisters in general, that support you, that encourage you, and we can lean on each other, because it's so divided right now.
Yeah. If we can do it, you can do it. We are young college students, girls in college
right now,
21 years old,
fighting the battle of career, of
just corruptness in society. It's not. Should we just?
And you know what?
Our light died. So
we're not perfect, obviously.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of preparing to do.
Yeah, this is our first episode.
I hope
we're
you guys
so
liked
excited.
it.
This has been in the works for a long time. We have always wanted to do this, but all right. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. God bless. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Love you, Grace.
I love you, Carmi girl.
This was awesome.
Yes.